morning. Welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Liz from Needlework on James Street North in Hamilton, and a really great environment to be in, especially for people who love sewing and just kind of getting back to maybe an art that's been lost in their lives for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
And also for people that are new to it, right?
Yes, yes.
You can't be afraid to get in here and make something for yourself. That's the best part of it all.
Right.
Right? Okay, so obviously you have lots of supplies. You have lots of materials
Yeah.
and great things for people that are already in the know. But
Yeah.
let's talk about, your classes. You have classes and people come in, again, if they've never sewed a day in their lives,
Right,
and
yeah.
they can learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our classes here, they're project-based, and most of them are geared towards beginners.
Oh, cool.
So our introduction to sewing class is called Sewing Machine Basics. It's a 3-hour class, and in that class, they learn to make a really simple pillow cover. So I have a sample here that we can look at.
Okay.
Again, in that class, they learn how to thread up the sewing machine, how to troubleshoot. We also talk about different types of fabric, cotton or woven fabrics versus knits.
Sure, because sewing those makes a difference too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the material that you choose.
Right, you have to choose the appropriate material for your project. So we kind of introduce that idea to students. And yeah, so they complete this pillow in the 3 hours and build that kind of confidence so that they can maybe
Grow
tackle a
from
new-
there, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
And
another
what's so cool
project.
about this is that we all have pillows, right? And
Yeah.
we know how expensive they are to buy.
Yeah.
So you may have the form at home,
Yeah.
and you can just keep on changing.
Yeah, they're really, really simple to make. And often, again, that class is 3 hours, but a lot of that time is spent learning how to set up your machine
Sure.
and how to cut out the fabric and whatnot.
Right.
But at the end of the class, there's often like 20 or so minutes left over, and many of the students take that time to make a second pillow cover
Cool.
because it's that quick to make
Right.
once you know what you're doing.
Once
So
you know
it's
what you're
really-
doing. And
yeah.
that's the thing, it's just information, right? It's just
Yeah.
knowledge. And once, again, I think this is the great way to start
Yeah.
this way. My sister-in-law's so good at this stuff, and it's
Yeah.
always like, but she's like, no, you wouldn't believe. Once you know, you
Yeah,
just have
it's
to,
easy. You just have to gain that confidence. I think,
right.
so.
So you start with here, and then
Yeah.
what's a good place to kind of graduate to from this?
From there, well, we offer a lot of different, again, beginner-based projects. What we have mostly here are kind of more intermediate, or not even intermediate level, but kind of a range of skill level.
Sure.
This is a
nice.
quilt sample, so we can even like open it
Wow.
up a little bit.
Cool. Look at
This
that.
quilt is a class that we run. It's 5 weeks long. It's called Simply Squares. And so if someone is interested in learning how to quilt, they can sign up for this class. They'll learn how to piece your quilt top, how to layer everything together to make your quilt, how to put on a binding and
Right.
whatnot. So this is a great class for people who are interested in learning that
That's
technique, I
a
guess.
really cool skill. And
Yeah.
and like, what's great about this is, again, these are so good for gifts too,
Right,
right?
for sure.
People love doing this as a baby quilt or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And people really, really honor and preserve something
Yeah.
they know someone made for
This
them.
is like heirloom quality
Yes,
type of gift.
absolutely.
So,
I think that's
great.
I love that quilts are still around and they will continue to be around forever because you can go very traditional with the materials, you can go very modern with
Yeah.
color and design, and I think that's just awesome. So,
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
so what are these little square pieces that
So
you have here?
what I have here, these are embroidery samples.
Okay.
So at Needlework, we teach sewing-based classes, but also anything that is kind of textile related. So we offer some stitching classes. So these are a sample from our embroidery, intro to embroidery class.
Look at that, eh?
Our instructor, Thea Haynes, she kind of made up these samples.
These are
And
so
there's
cool.
Another one there.
Yeah.
So you learn some of those stitches during that class. And these samples, these are from her natural dye stitching class.
Oh,
so
wow.
she has stitched with different types of threads that has been treated differently before dyeing the whole thing into a pot
Wow,
of natural
that's so
dyes.
cool.
And the different threads kind of soak up the dye.
That, and how neat that
differently.
looks, right?
Yeah,
Again,
it's
it gives just
beautiful.
such a beautiful piece of art,
Yeah.
really, in a way.
Yeah.
So what can you take from this? What do you make?
Well, I think you can make many different things. If you had a big piece of cloth that you're embroidering, and then dye that whole piece of cloth, and if you think of using like this as trim around
Sure.
the hem of your blouse or
Yeah.
dress, or kind of some embellishments on your
There's so
around the
much
neckline.
possibility.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful.
How
So-
cool. Now, with that, I mean, you lead us right into that actually,
Yeah.
is dresses, making a dress, making clothing. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, pretty
right?
great, yeah. We offer intro levels or beginner level garment classes. What we have over here, the Judy,
Yeah, here we are.
that is a class that we're offering, the Dahlia, and it's a pattern-based, a class based on a pattern that we sell here at the store. And that's kind of how we work our garment-based classes. They are kind of built around a pattern that we sell here.
That seems so intimidating to some people, right? Is to find a pattern.
It's not too
How
hard.
am I going to make this fit me, right?
Right.
Because everybody's body shapes are so different,
Yeah.
right? And so, but the best part about that is making your own dress is that you can make it to fit you, because
Right.
it's so hard to find a dress in the store that fits you.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're coming in here. How do you adapt that? How do you make that work?
Most of the patterns that you can buy that you take home and you work on, it will state right on the package, this is what pattern that you'll cut out for your size. In our classes, we'll teach you how to take the proper measurements, so how to take your bust measurement, your
Right.
waist, your hip.
And apply that to the pattern.
And apply it to the pattern. Like taking those measurements properly is the most important, I think.
Yeah, I think so,
knowing
right?
what
Yes.
to look for or what
Measure twice,
measurements.
cut once.
Basically, yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
in the last thing, like, and some people are worried, like, they're thinking, well, if I make a blouse or something like that, or a dress, I put it on, it's going to have like 3 sleeves and no neck hole.
No, it's not that bad. It's pretty straightforward.
You have instruction, and that's the
Yeah.
best part. So you guys are right in there, hands-on when you're doing these classes,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like, so tell me, the actual average class when you're signing up, how long a period of time does it last for?
It really depends on the project that they're working on.
Okay.
A garment class is typically 3 sessions or 4 sessions long, so either 9 or 12 hours.
Okay.
Our quilting classes, they range. If it's a small baby quilt class, that's a two session workshop. We have a sampler quilt here. This one's 7 weeks long.
Okay.
So this takes a lot of time to kind of put together. We have a duffel bag class.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty great. This is called the Portside Duffel.
That's good too, because people
4
want
weeks.
to be able to, like, 4 weeks for that,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then they have their own bag.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are carrying around,
Yeah.
bags for gym or to yoga.
Yeah,
so you
or
can
just
make
a
it-
weekender bag, right?
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have drop-in classes as well. People can kind of come in and use the space as well, use the
Yeah,
time, right?
absolutely. To use our machines, it's $7 an hour to rent the space as well. So you can come in, use our sewing machines. We have a couple or a few sergers that they can use as well.
That's awesome.
And the cutting tables. So often people come in, they have a sewing machine and a setup already at home.
Yep.
But they just want to use the table to like lay out their pattern and cut everything
Makes sense.
out.
Sure.
So we're really useful in that way.
That's
and then
great.
there's always someone here to help out too. So if someone has a few questions about their project that they're working on,
Awesome.
someone's
Yeah,
here to
someone's
help.
here to help,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Liz.
Oh,
Great
no
to come into
problem.
the space. Always go onto their website as well, of course, and
Yeah.
find out more information. And you have kids classes too, so that's
Oh,
good.
we do, absolutely.
Yes, very
for
good.
March break
Thank you.
and summer. Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's it for now. More TERRA home to come. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. We're at the Good Earth, and I'm here with Executive Chef Therese DeGrace, thank you so much for allowing us into your space. Love coming here. I've been coming here for many, many years and watched this place just turn into such an awesome environment. It always has been, but there are just so many elements that we could talk about right now. But, you know, as we are in the new year, and of course we have Valentine's Day just around the corner, we'll pay focus to that, of course, as well. But a lot of locals come and just enjoy dinner here, and you have fantastic dinners that you put together. Where do we start with all of this? It's just, there's so much to talk about.
Well, the Good Earth is the brainchild of Nicolette Novak, and this business started from a tiny little kitchen school that was run out of her cottage and has grown into quite a multifaceted business. The one thing I have to say about the Good Earth is that Nicolette wanted it to feel like an extension of her home, and that really has permeated through the whole of the property. So we've got the cooking school, we have the bistro as well, and different things that go on all the time. I can say that people come to wine country generally in the summertime, that's the big time to go, but it is glorious in this area in the winter, just with all the trees covered in frost and the whole bit. And this is a working farm. We've got grapes on one side and we've got trees, fruit trees on the other, and it just kind of hugs you. So I can say that starting with the bistro, I mean, we're open every day for lunch, and in the winter, we're very, very focused on specific dinners. So our good girths.
Good girths.
We're a punny bunch here. We like to say lots of funny little things. So our good girths, and what we do is we take a theme or we take an ingredient, and as the kitchen, we roll with it. We come up with a menu that's really, really exciting. And what that does, because the Good Earth is a place where people come 3 times a week even, we've got lots of regulars. We change our menus frequently, we change our dinners frequently, and we have a lot of fun with it. So we take sort of a lot of ethnic inspiration with a lot of local ingredients, and then just we put a lot of our passion into it.
You put a lot of effort into making these, right? I mean, you guys have so much fun. And again, you know, we talk about Nicolette, and you can see based on her personality and how she gets along with you, that, I mean, all of you have to work together, and there's something about all of you that just is kind of fun and quirky and cool, and that's, it all comes out.
Yes, quirky is definitely the key word. She's very quirky, I'm very quirky, but you have to be, no matter what your role is here, and every role is very respected here, you must be passionate about food and wine to be here. Like if you're in an interview, and even if your resume looked great and you started saying that, you know, you really don't like broccoli, or you're really freaked out by fish, you might think a little twice about having, you have to be passionate, and everyone here is like thinking about food 24/7.
Yes.
We really work as a collective. It isn't the Nicolette show or the Tree show, it's the Good Earth. We put this on together. So just to get back to our good girths.
So let's talk about some of the themes that you guys come up with.
So we're doing Chinese New Year this year. We're taking some traditional concepts and doing some modern spins on them. And when we come together, we really collaborate on different things that we're doing. So we're doing that. Valentine's Day. So we actually, because of the way it falls this year, 2 days.
Why not celebrate love all weekend?
And our good girls are always very accessible, because we find that good food should not be penalized with a huge price tag. So they're 3 courses, $45.
You guys are good at that.
And really, here it's all about the freshest ingredients possible. Nicolette often will spend a day driving all over, even going to Toronto to procure ingredients for us. I will do the same thing.
So fun.
Because we want to make sure that we have the best ingredients possible in-house. And for our regulars, it's ever-changing.
Yes, and you need that, right? As you say, that's what makes them regulars, right? Because they want to be able to come in and see what else you have to offer. And your menus are, it's cool because they have all kinds of awesome ingredients, but ingredients you understand.
Yes.
So it's very approachable, and so you don't have to feel like it's, you know, those super highfalutin fancy places where I'm going to go in and I can't really connect.
And if we do have an esoteric ingredient, we always make sure that our staff is familiar with what it is and what the substitute can be.
Perfect.
Because we give away recipes freely, we share what we know about food freely, because food in every capacity is something that touches all your senses. So we want to be as open with that as we possibly can.
Right.
But yeah, so Good Girls, we did a Can-Am week this year, a Can-Am week. So Canadian and American, celebrating all the holidays, a lot of kitschy kind of favorites. Fun. So we really changed things up as much as we possibly can. And our cooking school is a completely different entity. We're here now. It's a completely different entity.
This is the space.
Yes, and this is really where people come to try our wines, to eat some food. And I teach some of the classes, but we have a myriad of chefs who come in, all with different modalities. I'm doing a class called Tuck of the Irish, right? So we try to take some of these concepts where, you know, people think Irish food, how terrifying. But I lived over there, the food is fantastic, and you might learn something.
Right.
And Nicolette often says during our classes, you learn through osmosis. So the thing is, we have 12 people, it's very intimate, so you have a lot of one-on-one time speaking with the chefs, and we have, you know, Ross Midgley comes in, Justin Downs, a lot of wonderful chefs who come in, and you get to talk with us. Nicolette's always the host for the cooking classes. We showcase our wonderful wines, and you get to learn a little bit and eat a little bit, and it's almost like an intimate dinner party where you might walk away with something interesting that you try.
And the best part about that too is that, you know, as you say, because it is so intimate, you could actually book just your friends, business partners, so, you know, businesses can come in and help just sort of, you know, bring a different closeness to the individuals in the workplace by having a casual environment like this. And again, as you say, of course, wine is something that was brought in to this great environment as well a few years back now, and it just makes sense to have wine with food.
Well, she thought it was a natural progression, Nicolette, for the business, and it does make sense. One thing, though, that is unique about the Good Earth is that most wineries have their winery and then they have a restaurant to showcase the wines.
Right.
We are opposite.
Because you started with food.
We started with food, and sometimes we don't get the recognition that we should with our wines, but they are wonderful. We have an excellent winemaker, Ross. He's fantastic, Ross Wise, and he works very closely with Nicolette to sort of just make sure that we have the most beautiful wines ever. I sometimes, with all the ethnic foods, give them a bit of a challenge with some of the pairings. But in the end, we take that on as a challenge, right? So,
That's the thing, right? When you are working together, and again, you have such strength with the food, and you're bringing in strong wines as well. This is a great way for both of you to be creative, right? To come together and put together fantastic menus. And again, the cooking school itself, which is where all of this, you know, began. It's such a great place to come. And as you say, it is open all year round. Come down in the winter time. Of all times, come down, because winter gets kind of boring and humdrum, and people stay indoors. Like, you need to get out and experience and enjoy fantastic food that, again, is very approachable.
It is, and I think that that's important. It's not the time of our life where everything is so far removed. People know about food now. They know how to cook good food in their own home and the whole bit. And we choose to celebrate that. We try to do things that are a little bit outside the box, but still that have some grain that is familiar.
Right.
Because we want people to feel very, very comfortable at the Good Earth. And I think that Nicolette's done a great job of just achieving that and making this a warm environment. And I think that's why we have so many regulars who come in here all the time.
Well, you know what? You guys are fantastic. You're so much fun to be around. Encourage people to come down and grab a meal. And again, all these dinners, make sure you book well in advance because
they sell out in a second. They're very popular.
And enjoy cooking school as well. It's always great to learn something new for your own kitchen. Thank you so much, Therese.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, we'll have more TERRA at home after this. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. We are at the Hamilton Spectator Go Cooking Kitchen today with Chef Mark from La Piazza Allegra Restaurant in Hamilton. And what are we making today?
This one's a little bit different. This is, again, just a kind of a comfort food, a quick meal you can make at home. It's healthy, okay? It's got a little bit of everything in it. We're doing a sausage dish, but it's going to be done on top of a bed of pearl barley with green and red lentils.
Good.
Yeah,
okay.
so just a little bit different.
But it is. It does sort of instill that hardiness in this time of year when, you know, if we think about last winter, we hope ours doesn't last as long, but,
Yes.
you know, it's just that one of those hunker down and
Yep.
stay home and cook
Stay
something
home.
cozy.
Yep, exactly.
So you
And-
have these like nice little sausage links here.
yeah, these are little piccolo sausage, a little
Yeah.
mini sausage, so same thing, just made shorter, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're just going to roast them off. We're going to put them in this grill pan first, and then we're going to have to finish them in the oven.
Okay.
But what I want to do is I do want to get them onto the pan. I want to get a little bit of a sear to them on the outside, a little bit of a char. Then I'm going to split them in half, and we're going to finish them in the oven in half. And I didn't cut it ahead of time because if you cut it ahead of time and you don't cook it a little bit first, it'll open up and all the casing will come off, and
And it's a big mess.
it's just a big mess.
Yes.
You just end up with ground pork.
Right.
So, and we have, so I cooked off some pearl barley earlier. Okay. And it's up to you if you want to use pot barley or pearl barley. Not a heck of a lot of difference. I find that the pearl barley are just not as starchy because they've been polished. They're not as starchy.
Okay.
And then we have green lentils and red lentils. And again, I cooked both of those off a little bit earlier on.
Okay.
So with the lentils, you soak them overnight.
Yes.
Drain them, very similar to beans. Drain them, put them in some salted water, boil them a little bit. The red lentils cook considerably faster than the green.
Okay.
Okay, they're pink or red or whatever you want to call them. These ones take a little bit longer. They're a little bit hardier, the green ones.
Okay. So this just preparing this part takes a little bit of prep time.
Yeah, a
but-
little bit of time. Like if you have lentils, they're, I mean, once you have them soaked, you can do other dishes with them. Obviously, if you have anything extra, like these three here, if you have them extra, goes into minestrone soup. Makes a fantastic
yes.
minestrone soup. So there's always something to do with
Right.
it.
Okay.
So yeah, if you soak them the night before and then the next day, just cook them and then you can have them ready to go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a pan. I'm going to add a little bit of oil, a little bit of garlic to the barley. I have some fresh rosemary, which I'm going to dice up. I'm going to throw in with that barley, which goes really well with the sausage as well. And then saute that and just give this a quick warm.
Okay. So that's actually pretty
Pretty-
straightforward.
yeah, pretty straightforward
And when
stuff.
I think of rosemary again this time of year, it's just sort of just goes along with a dish that sort of has this.
Well, it gives it that
Hardiness
outdoors woodsy
woodsy,
kind of, yeah, exactly. So I've taken the rosemary and I'm just going to dice it nice and fine here. And that's just because you don't want to end up with that, you know, a whole rosemary stick in your mouth. And
Sure.
it's a little overpowering.
It's pretty potent. Yeah.
We have, I put a little bit of oil in the one pan. Then we have our barley. There we go. Now, the only thing I did is when I made the barley, I boiled it, I cooled it, and then I put it in the pot or in the bowl here, and I added some oil to it, just so it doesn't all stick together.
Ah, okay.
You have
All
to
right.
add a little bit of oil,
Okay, good tip.
and I did the same for these two as well.
It's just going to be a big lump.
Or else you end up with just a lump
Yeah.
that's all massed together.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of starch in those, so you just
Sure.
have to be careful.
But again, as you mentioned, I mean, it's healthy to get our grains and our beans that way to get, you know, have that in our diet, and it's just another way of doing it. So very, very good for us.
Throw a little bit of pureed garlic into that,
Okay.
a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper. And you can use as much salt and pepper as you want. I mean, it's up to you. I like having a certain amount of pepper in my dishes, especially with barley, something like
Yes.
this. It gives a real nice flavor with that, a little added spice to it.
So what are you achieving by putting the barley? Like I would never think when I've cooked barley before, yes, it's either in a soup or it's in, but I've never put it back into a pan and kind of fried it up like that. So
What you're going to do is when I fry this up, it's going to firm up. It's going to crisp out the outside.
Okay.
So it's going to make a bit of a crunchiness to it.
oh, okay. So
And you
it's
just
a
have to
texture thing.
keep an eye on it that you don't overcook it.
Yes.
But, I mean, you can start to see it. It's already starting to brown in
Yep.
some spots, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
Oh, it smells so good with the rosemary.
Lentils you can mix together. We'll put some green.
No real taste differences between those two lentils. It's more, or is it just more of a?
It's more of a texture thing than anything.
Texture
Like you can see how
visual.
individual these are. These are more lumped together.
Yes.
And I mean, these were undercooked because I knew I was going to fry them again, but it's just because they split the red ones, they don't split the green ones. So it's more of a texture thing than
Okay.
anything else. I'm just gonna give it a nice toss. But it does add a nice flavor, and like I said, it's a healthy way of eating. You know, adding lentils to, there's a lot of lentils in Mediterranean cooking, Indian
Right.
cooking and stuff like that, so they're very common.
Yes, that's right. They have, yes, a lot of times in Indian cooking, you're getting full lentil dishes. Sometimes
That's
I'll
right.
just have that, like a lentil type of curry. And
Yeah, with a nice piece of naan bread or something like that. It's, you know, it's fantastic. In North America, we don't use it a lot,
No.
and yet we should.
No.
So we're gonna finish crisping these up. And like I said, we're gonna throw them into the oven and finish them off in the oven.
So you're going to split them before you put in the oven, you said, right? Just so
Yes.
you're gonna, okay.
Yeah. Continue frying these, but you do want to make sure that they're brown on all sides. That helps the casing around the sausage
Okay.
stick.
And you said those were just a basic pork sausage, nothing
Just a
major
basic
flavor,
yep.
just because you
Yeah, I didn't get a spicy one. I mean, you can get any flavor you want. These ones are the mild ones, but you can get any flavor. If you want the spicy, you can always do it with the spicy as well. There we go. Add a touch of oil to this.
You also can't be afraid to be using oil as well. Especially if you're using a little bit of olive oil, it's actually, we should be having it in our diet every day anyway. So, you know, in
There's
general.
nothing wrong with using olive oil.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you can see how the texture, you can tell this is sort of firmed up and it's really,
Yeah, it's getting a nice crunch about it.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, because you're going to have a real, on this dish you have some conflicting textures.
Sure.
Soft, crunchy.
yes, that's good. That's what
It is
people
good.
like. That's what sometimes we don't realize that it's the texture that's so
Texture
appealing
has a
to
lot
us,
to do
right?
with it.
It's up to you guys to figure that stuff out for us. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll sort of put this all together and show you this fantastic plate. It smells amazing with all this rosemary in here. We'll be right back. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
I am a truth seeker.
A storyteller.
A dedicated volunteer.
I am a caring neighbor.
A customer's best friend.
And a client advocate.
I am a survivor.
A social media junkie.
A proud father of four and problem solver.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am.
I am.
I am.
We are the Hamilton Spectator.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. We hear the great sounds of barley just
Crisping up here.
crisping up over there.
You got it. All right, so what I did is I finished that sausage in the oven,
Yes.
cut it in half, finish it in the oven. So we're pretty much ready to plate here.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the barley down first. This is just going to be layered like a bed on top of a bed with the sausage on top of everything.
So this would obviously be good if you had, you know, we were talking about the leftovers from this, but if you had leftovers of barley or lentils around, then you could put this dish together as well,
Exactly.
based on that.
Nice and easy. Again, good at this time of the year, you know, where it's
Yep.
still winter out and it's cold, so.
Oh, we have a whole lot of winter yet to go.
Yes.
We have barely begun.
There we go.
Very good.
The only other thing, I mean, I left it out of here, again, just for health reasons, but if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of butter on this, melt some butter.
Oh,
It'll add a little bit of
Mark.
fat and flavor, but it's not necessary.
butter on everything tastes amazing, but that's just, you're not even supposed to put the idea in our heads, okay? I like the way that you've done the sausage. I think that's a good idea, splitting it like that. Again,
Yeah.
obviously you got some nice flavor from frying it up a little bit there first and searing in all the juices.
Searing in all the juices and getting everything in there. And then, like I said, you have to finish it in the oven. You do want to finish it in the oven just to make sure it's cooked all the way through. But
Okay. Well, just a reminder as well, while you're plating this, that you can get all these recipes on our website at terragreenhouses.com. Good hearty dish for this time of year, probably something to revisit while we're socked in for a while. But this is definitely a good one, and I love the addition of rosemary. So
yeah. There you
Also,
go.
a thank you as well to the Hamilton Spectator for letting us use their Go Cooking Kitchen, and a good place for us to hang out and
Cook up some food.
cook out some yummy stuff. Awesome. That looks good. That'll stick to your ribs.
It does.
Thanks, Mark. All right, try it this weekend. Have yourself a good one.